I mean, they I found out, or someone found out, that the Republicans or the Democrats or someone like them actually paid people to start doing all these crazy stories just to try and make it so when people heard my story, maybe that they wouldn't believe it or something like that. I mean, I used to pay people to go hunt down crazy stories. So, I mean, and that's Lucifer White, Starline, or the government's, basically money investigators investigating crazy stories. And I found out that it's possible Yale or Harvard or one of those schools or someone was actually paying people to do crazy stories or whatever else like that. There was a lot of investigated people that actually went around and started talking to all these people that had these crazy stories. And some of them said, well, for the money, or they were paid or something like that, or that somebody had um, suggested that they do it or something else like that. I don't really know. Um, so I mean Nixon. You got to understand that Nixon or Kennedy spent about 15 years trying to get into the White House and get into any kind of logbook or record. And what they call the Watergate scandal really involves a record building or a doctor's office that had some of the things that Jackie, I think, was talking to her therapist about, or something like that, or someone. I don't know. They were after psychology reports or something. I'm not exactly sure. Like you'd have to look into the Watergate scandal, and the Watergate Hotel was actually mine anyway. And there were buildings that had recorders in them and wired recorders. They weren't digital bugs or anything else like that. Quite a few of the buildings actually. And me and the Japanese or the other people actually listened into some stuff. We did some. It was just silly spy stuff, really. Because you have to understand, I'm Epic Other Planets, and basically just kind of like training a group to basically be detectives or whatever else like that. Anyway, it's a generally random stuff. Gives me a headache just thinking about it because it's over with and done with, and was like in 1950, 1960 or whatever. There's a lot of stuff, and there's this whole switch between Germany and Europe and basically coming to America, and where I used to know a lot of stuff from Germany and Europe, and then when I switched over to America after they did all the genocide, um, I didn't know all that stuff that I had known before. The Germany and Europe side was so much better. Like, I love you guys, I love you Russia, I love you Germany, I love you China, I love you Japan, and I love you Irish and Scottish and the what's called and even Africa and Australia. The Aussies. I used to have a couple Aussie military people, and yeah, they're pretty reliable and they're great people. A lot of my armies had a lot of these other groups, and so I got to know them as well, having them around and having them do stuff when I was on the other side of in Europe. And I love you guys. My heart will always be in Germany and Europe and France and England and with you guys, with the old timers back then. The ones that found themselves on the bad end of genocide and a nightmare war. Um, I mean, I didn't do that from this side. I didn't intend that. It was actually already done. Really, that was JFK and Nixon and all of them. On this side, it was more of a confirmation of what they had done or whatever, trying to get my backing, which I didn't really fully consent to. And I used to know more about what they had tried and what they did, and it was some horrible stuff. You'd have to go to Germany or China and Russia. All the answers are over there. Basically, Yankee country pretty much tried to take over the world and kill everyone over there, and it got really bad. But my German pilots were much better, even in older aircraft. My German pilots were so much better than the Yankee pilots, which basically just jumped in an aircraft and were flying. And they actually got shot down quite a bit, even when they had much better aircraft. My German pilots were really, really good. I mean, really good. And could do stuff that the American or the United States couldn't do. My teams were always really good. Like, my teams were always professional. All they did was fly. All they did was practice. Anyone with me usually knows that it's going to be a fight for their life at some point, and they have to be ready for anything. So we were ready for everything, for almost anything when it happened, and it was a close call, but we got through it, I guess. I mean, there's 7 billion of us, or 7 billion humans here. Most of my other life forms are actually told to retreat and go back to their home worlds or whatever, or go back to space to get to a safe distance because I didn't want to endanger them inside this nightmare conflict, which just left a skeleton crew of whatever on Earth, which was killed, of course, so with everything else. So anyway, and I think my decision was to actually stay on Earth until this is done, really. I mean, a lot of things changed, a lot of things happened. As things shifted, as the future changed, as everything, with my life and my existence, things just kind of, changed around me. And then plus I was captured for 900 million years and all that. And they were trying to undo what I was or who I was so they could kill me, or to keep me from remembering who or what I was, my name, Lucifer White Star. Although I had 500 other names that I went by because I changed my ship so often. So anyway, spaceships and all that, a lot of people knew my spaceships too, because I would go through space and people would recognize my spaceships. And every time I invented something new, I usually kept like a couple years behind what is, look like everything else, but I always had it a little bit better. And I always was way ahead of the curve. I was always hiding everything I was, because, if you seem to be something special, people think you're special. So, and I didn't want any undue attention because, I just like the peaceful life, really. So, anyway, but that was my existence before, and now this is my existence now. So, different things, and I really enjoyed my old existence better, honestly. So, but anyway, yeah.